All right, so welcome everyone to the AI Plus Data Community Tour. My name is Rebecca Saar. I'm the head of admin relations. Been at Salesforce for over 8 years now, kind of within the admin relations realm, and I'm happy to be here today. So a quick reminder to please make any purchasing decisions based on currently available features and functionality. Got to make sure we get that out of the way, especially since we are talking about a lot of new cool product today. Okay, so our agenda, and I will say we haven't done a lot of these kind of in a 90-minute time frame. So I would say this is a lot to cover, and we'll kind of see how it goes, especially because the way I've designed this is that we get hands-on kind of throughout. Like we'll all pull up Trailhead and do the prompt builder batch together, go back into slides, and then go back into hands-on. So we will see, but I'm hoping we can get through most of this together. And then we'll end on Data Cloud, just kind of high level, talk through what those features look like. So again, I want to say a massive thank you for being here, and especially it's on a Saturday and you're spending time to kind of learn about these new tools. The innovation in the space has been just at crazy speeds, even for Salesforce, right? Like looking at last year to this year, we're releasing products going into GA, and if you're feeling overwhelmed or behind, don't. I also have been having those feelings, right, with the product moving so fast and wanting to keep up. So I am also, like many of us within Salesforce, learning what's happening. And just a fun anecdote, as I was prepping for this, I've been joining some internal sessions, and literally things have changed through session and session, because that's how quick the innovation is happening. Like we're saying like, oh, well, this looks different than last time we looked at this. So you're really here as early adopters of all of this, and we're just hugely grateful for you to be kind of joining us on this journey to learn these new tools. So on that note, you know, especially since we've had people join kind of the longer workshop, I'd love for this part to be interactive and for us to be able to share our perspective, and especially as we kind of talk about terminology. So we're starting these sessions with this slide so that we can all kind of level set and be on the same page with what we mean when we talk about these different terms. So has everyone heard about generative AI at this point? I'm assuming, yeah. This, I think it was November of 22 that ChatGPT became really big, right? And people, that really kind of took off. So I think the term generative AI now is maybe not so new, but the way it's defined here, I think helps us kind of conceptualize. So it's a type of artificial intelligence that synthesizes content such as text, images, or music by leveraging patterns and insights gleaned from extensive data sets to produce novel and coherent outputs. Well, that's a mouthful, right? But I think what's important to note is the producing novel and coherent outputs. The one thing we kind of like to mention at this point is that it's different than predictive AI, which is something, at least at Salesforce, we've been talking about for quite some time. I would say probably 2016. And predictive AI is when you're looking at past data to make predictions on future data. So that's how this is different. And then we have a large language model. Does anyone have a good way of describing a large language model that they want to share?
Sure. A large language model is, I guess it's what powers everything that you see behind the scenes, and it takes in a lot of text from the internet or something, pretty much train on the entirety of the internet, and basically produces your next, like, or predicts the next token from your prompt. You can just step in. Yeah, but that's kind of what an LLM is.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, and we'll get into that because I like how you say it, like powers kind of generative AI and things like that. And we'll get a little bit more into that in a minute. I think the other thing to point out here is there's general purpose LLMs like ChatGPT, but then there's also domain-specific LLMs that could be for code generation or for something specific within your industry or where you're for what you're working with. Then we've got prompt, which is definitely an important one to know, especially for this workshop. The way we describe it is a starting line for an AI conversation or task where you're telling the LLM what you're looking for, and you're using natural language to do that. Does that resonate with folks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think at this point, if people have used ChatGPT, you've written a prompt of some sort. So that should feel somewhat familiar. And then grounding maybe is something a little newer or a newer concept, but that means that you're ensuring that AI's responses are not just creative, but also accurate and relevant to the real world. And this gets super important when we talk about business, right? Because we want to make sure when we're writing prompts, we're grounding them in factual and kind of relevant customer data. And in a way, the opposite is hallucinating. So that's when AI is filling in ungrounded information, which may be false in order to appease the prompt. And you may have heard that in the news as well, right? Where people have created prompts written. I think there was one that was like a legal case, right? That was really famous last year where a lawyer was using kind of the LLM and then realized that the LLM had been hallucinating. So that's not great. So it's really important to know that that can also happen. And then lastly, reasoning. So when AI is reasoning, it's walking through a problem step by step using logic to connect the dots from question to answer. So this is also going to be important, especially when we talk about Copilot later on, because that's like taking things to the next level where AI is kind of looking at your request, breaking it down into tasks, and also figuring out the sequence that it should take to answer the request. Okay. All right, so we've kind of level set on some of the terminology. So I wanted to start this journey into AI talking about the consumer side of things and breaking down what that stack looks like. Because in the consumer space, I think we're more familiar and we can start to understand the core pieces and then apply that to the business world. But in the consumer generative AI stack, we have kind of three pieces. We've got the UI, right, which is our interface, and that's usually a web-based chat experience. And that's probably what most of us are familiar with, right? When we pull up ChatGPT and we can start kind of writing in natural language. Then we've got the model, which you shared, what the LLM, what that means. But essentially it's the power or the engine behind the output that you will receive when you're typing into your UI. And there are lots of them now. I mean, even just over the past year, this list has grown a lot. And then the third kind of core piece of your generative AI stack is the data. And what's important to note in the consumer world, that's mostly public data. It's crawling the internet, right? Yeah. Everything on the internet, it's read it all, and it's leveraging that to do the outputs and answer your questions or write your essay or email.
There's also like a lot of copyright cases on like, or New York Times did a lawsuit. Oh, like the LLMs, like, oh, what is the ethical, like, is it like reading data or is it training data? Or it's like,
yeah, it's a whole interesting new space to figure out. Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of how we, at least at Salesforce, have defined the stack of generative AI for consumer base.
Oh, what kind of model Einstein Copilot is being used? So is it using internal Lozano or it's a combination?
It can, so you can decide. So you can bring your own model essentially and decide which model you'd like to use. That's, yeah. And
is there a default model that's run, or?
I mean, we'll go into it.
I know, sorry.
Yeah, no, like you have to select
Oh,
it.
you gotta always
Because,
like,
yeah, I remember that in that session as well. it showed
There was like the
that
little
there's a
drop down.
drop-down.
Yeah,
You select one.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, in the consumer space, we've seen generative AI and it's, I think everyone has probably seen like how powerful it can be and how useful it can be. And so of course, companies across the world want to leverage this for their businesses and kind of be ahead of the curve, right? And increase productivity for their employees and better experiences for their customers. So we've been on a journey to kind of figure out what that means for the business, right? And the fact of the matter is it's not that simple, right? There's a lot of things that you have to kind of consider if you want to bring generative AI into your business. And it kind of all centers around trust. Because yeah, and I don't know, at least at our company, right? It's like, don't feed ChatGPT any personal or private company data, right? Like there's a lot of kind of barriers of what you want to bring into anything that's a consumer facing public generative AI tool where you would not want to share your company data and things like that. There's also like, if you did even want to leverage your data could be in many different places. So, you know, it kind of prevents customized, personalized, outputs. That is really what you would want, if you were going to leverage this for your business. And on top of that, if you're using different apps, it would be somewhat disconnected from your CRM because you'd be like writing it here, copy, paste, putting it in there. And so there's, you know, kind of a slew of things that Salesforce realized needed to be addressed to bring generative AI into and make it useful for businesses. And that's what we'll be talking about today, right? So we've got Prompt Builder, Copilot, Einstein Copilot, and some data cloud topics we'll go over. So we're gonna figure out how we can build with AI plus data using Salesforce. So I'll do a quick overview of Einstein 1 Studio. And then, like I said, we'll go into Prompt Builder and Einstein Copilot. And that's really what we'll spend most of our time. And then if we have time, we'll do a quick kind of overview of data cloud. So Einstein 1 Studio is just the name of kind of this suite of builders that Salesforce has come out with, right? So if you're hearing, well, Einstein 1 is our platform, right? And so Einstein 1 Studio is really talking about this suite of products. And these are our generative AI capabilities for Salesforce. So it's Copilot Builder, Prompt Builder, and Level Builder. We'll go into Prompt Builder. Okay, so like you, I've been learning all this kind of more recently and trying to wrap my head around how these tools work. So I'm going to give you kind of how I've figured it out in my version of it. But again, if you've been kind of learning about it, I think it'd be great to share kind of how people are thinking about the tool as well. Like if you've had ideas for use cases and things like that. But Prompt Builder enables you to activate prompts in the flow of work. So it's about leveraging generative AI, but within Salesforce. And the way I like to describe it is essentially we're enabling the outputs of prompts so that kind of the powerful work that an LLM can do while taking the hard work of writing really good grounded prompts out of the hands of our users and kind of us taking that on as the admins or developers or architects. So what that ends up being is the user will have like a button that they can click, right? Or a drop down of different prompt templates that they can leverage that we have built knowing because we have been learning how to do prompt engineering essentially, right? It's what they call it, but it's just prompt writing in the end. And I think the important and unique thing here as well is that within Prompt Builder, you can ground all of your templates in customer data. which means you can also kind of scale the templates, right? And we'll go into this in more detail, but you could, just like how you would do in an email and you can have merge fields, you can do similar in a prompt template, so you can say, hi, insert customer name, right? And then that template can be used, for any user across whatever use case they have, depending on how you build it. So that's kind of the power behind Prompt Builder. It's like we're creating these templates that will do generative outputs for users, but it's grounded in our data and also in how we've written them so that we're preventing kind of, the outputs we wouldn't want to see. And we're doing a lot of testing behind the scenes as practitioners to make sure that the results are good. And then the other kind of last cool part about prompts is that you can build the prompt once and reuse them kind of everywhere. So within Copilot and Lightning Pages flows. And to kind of dive a little bit deeper on that, Prompt Builder has 4 different template types. So when you're creating templates and we're going to be pulling them up, you'll be able to choose before we even get into the builder one of these 4. And so sales email, I think, is probably the most straightforward one to think about, right? If you're picking that template, you're drafting personalized emails through Email Composer. And you'll be able to leverage that merge data from contacts or leads or other objects when you build that out. And then field generation, that prompt template will generate text to be stored in a custom field within a record page. And that is actually the example we will build in Trailhead. And if you've already done the badge, then hopefully this is resonating or you're remembering that piece. I think in the example, it's used to summarize the case essentially, which is a little confusing because the next one is called record summary, but that prompt template is essentially designed just for Copilot action. If you're going to use Copilot, you would create that one. And we'll get into Copilot later as well. And then lastly, the 4th template type that is available to you is Flex, which just means you can generate text to be used anywhere. It's the open bucket one, which is probably the one you can have the most fun with. So you can,
It's the most
put it-
commonly used one, those were the ones you commonly use.
I mean, I don't know actually which one is the most commonly used.
Like we used to have this smart commands where you just.
Yeah. I have a quick 2-minute just video that does a little demo of Prompt Builder before we jump in and do Trailhead. So we'll play that and then we'll do some hands-on. So for playing, do I need to
Computer sound?
Yeah, it should be shares.
where is like up here? Turn up volume or
Wait, just
I'm
play,
not good at Zoom, so
and then you can
just do that.
or we can increase our volume.
No,
Do
turn
other
up,
people hear it?
turn up volume.
Oh, here?
Yeah, and
Your volume on, that's fine.
No, oh yeah, but then just to mute ourselves.
let's try. Does it work?
Are other people hearing it?
Yeah.
They can hear it?
Let's
No.
start.
We are not hearing.
You're unmuted too.
Okay.
You can try playing it again. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Maybe if I go mute or.
yeah, you should go on mute and then.
Generative AI result is a prompt. A prompt What is Prompt Builder? Well, behind every generative AI result is a prompt. A prompt is a set of questions or instructions we provide a large language model so it can create relevant content. Prompts help your teams work faster by embedding generative AI functionality within the flow of work to get AI responses grounded in your business data. Prompts can be used everywhere in Salesforce to augment business tasks. You can add prompts to flows for AI-powered process automation through asking Einstein Copilot a question, or bring generative AI into your apps in Lightning Web Components and Pages. However, engineering your own prompts requires time, money, and specialized expertise that makes it feel out of reach. This is why we created Prompt Builder, our low-code tool to build and manage trusted AI prompts. You craft these prompts by using clicks and natural language instructions or questions to guide AI. Next, select a large language model that's right for you to process the prompt, which delivers a response or answer we get from AI. This response isn't very usable because of how generic it is. The solution to this is grounding, and only Salesforce has all the right data to ground your prompts with your business context, like data from CRM, Data Cloud, and external sources into the prompt to get a much more relevant generative AI response. We can take that a step further through dynamically grounding the prompt by using flows and Apex to adapt generative AI to our business. This gives us a relevant answer based on our business data, while also protecting that data. After we've built these prompts, we can embed them in the flow of work to augment tasks with Einstein. That is how Prompt Builder helps teams work faster by extending generative AI functionality to deliver business outcomes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So hopefully that kind of reinforced what we had just talked about with Prompt Builder, and kind of gave you the preview of what to expect when we dive into this hands-on. So we're gonna do this badge. It's the Quick Start Prompt Builder badge. The easiest is probably just to Google it. I realize I put a QR code, but that's not useful in this setting. But yeah, if everyone wants to pull that up. And if you've done any kind of live Trailhead badge completion, right, the best way we'll set up our screens is like half the screen is your org, the other half is the instructions.
Rebecca, is it the one get started? Oh, okay.
Yes, so it's this.
Where are we going?
It's tiny.
Trailhead?
Yeah, so go to Trailhead or just Google Quick Start and make sure it's Quick Start because that means it's the hands-on one. I'm just gonna go back to my slide really quick. So as you're pulling that up, I'll go over high level what we're doing here, but so in this project, we're gonna get hands-on with creating a prompt template, use it to get actual generated LLM responses. And we'll focus on a customer support case scenario. And then kind of the use case behind that is in an effort to boost productivity and customer satisfaction, we want to use generative AI to summarize the case in 100 words. So that would enable agents to kind of get super up to speed on the case really quickly by just reading kind of the top level summary. So, and then the other thing to note is that if you haven't, well, either way, you should probably sign up for a new trial org. if you've done this badge already before, it's probably expired because these are 5-day trial orgs. They're very specific to generative AI, and so that'll take a minute. So you want to go to the quick start builder. Yeah, I know there's a lot of prompt builder badges. You want to make sure, you're on the quick start one because that's the one where you can get hands-on.
The get started with prompt builder one. This one?
No, quick start.
Oh, quick start.
Oh, we're doing the quick start.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you're
Very
connected.
specific that it says quick start. I know. I'm like, I should have done a short URL maybe.
I posted the link, please.
Yeah.
Click on that one, it's quick start prompt builder. That's where you have the link to sign up for the trial.
Start Einstein Copilot.
No, we'll do that one later.
That way.
Wait, oh, this one or?
I think also Mia put in chat this one, quick start prompt builder.
That's the one, quick start prompt.
Yeah, I put the image right here, so you could
Yeah.
check if the badge is the same for you
Okay, cool.
as this guy.
So she put the URL in the chat.
Yeah, the URL is also in the chat by Mia.
Thank you. Yeah,
Mia Whitfield.
great. Yeah, so there's two, If you've done it, that's great. We'll redo it. There's the option to redo it. And then make sure that you sign up for a new org. Because again, if you haven't done it or you have done it, most likely it's expired because these are 5-day trial orgs.
Okay.
So you'll want to open a fresh one up. This will take a few seconds, but the nice thing is when we go into Copilot, we won't need to do this step because you can use the same org for both. Yeah, so once you've done that, you should be getting an email. I know there's kind of a little bit of a setup rigmarole that we have to go through. Yeah. So you'll have a specific username and a specific org for this. And I should make sure I'm logged into all my things. Okay. Sure. It's logged in, yep.
You gotta connect your trials to Trailheads too.
Yeah, yep.
So is everyone,
yeah.
you reset the password and are you in? Can you give a thumbs up if you are in?
Yeah, how are people doing with getting into the org?
You said it.
Great, great.
Okay, we have, how many, 2? Can you give a thumbs up if you're already in? Yeah, I am in too. So you have to reset the password and then you are in.
Yeah, and then the final step is right here, right? You're hitting connect org in your Trailhead and connecting that specific org that you just created.
Oh, yeah. Connect org.
So we take this up, yeah, that's fine. And then click the 3 dots next to launch, yeah, and then connect org. And then make sure you're using your new login and the new password that you just created. I wonder, I think I make sure. I'm not sure.
Right.
Both windows. No, desktop, here we go. Aha, okay. How are people doing? Are we connected to our orgs?
It looks good.
It looks like classic.
No, it's classic.
What?
It's still actually.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's not letting me open in this page in Lightning, so.
Oh, that's new. I did this yesterday and it was, it was opening like this for me.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
Trailheads.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just,
you're still logging in? Okay, yep.
There.
Yeah, it did take me a couple of times, like sometimes you have to like refresh, because it's still trying to log you into your old one or whatnot. Yeah, just takes a couple minutes. Yeah, but it looks like you're making progress.
Yeah.
Allow access.
Should you go to
All
Saar?
right, let's get this.
Yes,
save it.
Save it.
Save it. Yeah, and then the best way is to set up your screen somewhat like this, so you can have both your instructions and your org next to each other.
So.
Thumbs up if you're connected, if you connected your org to your Trailhead so far.
Can everyone get, oh, still not connected? So if you've done, what I had already done it, so I retook the step and then you go to that bottom of the list is connect the org and then connect it and I can send you a password. And that's how you're in.
You click these three dots, connect org
Org, yeah.
here. And then follow the steps. I don't want to click it because I'm logged in.
I know the steps, but it's not available as an option. Oh.
Yeah, I got it.
Which piece is not available?
Yeah,
Is that where it should be?
that happened too, but I think close the tab.
Oh, close and go back to your Trailhead badge.
Okay.
And if you see the new org, like see how mine says epic.dac and it's at epic.th.
Oh,
It'll
launch that one.
Yeah, launch that. And then for me, it looks like this.
Okay, yeah, I think this is it, right?
Yep,
Got it.
there you go.
Couple times.
I know, it always does, even when I was doing it yesterday for the second time. Yeah.
But me too, okay.
For some reason, oh, here we go. Okay, it seems like we're half. How, in the room, are we connected?
Is everyone connected in the room?
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
perfect.
Yeah, maybe we'll move forward
yeah,
and
just move.
other people can help them online. Okay, so let's go back to the top of our Get Started with Prompt Builder. So we talked about the use case, right? We're going to be doing working on a support case and essentially creating a field that is summarizing everything on the case so that an agent can come to the record and quickly hit the button, read it, and be like, now I know what's going on. And we're going to use generative AI for that. So we're scrolling all the way. We've done all these pieces. And we're going to get actually started. So the first step we want to take in any of these actions is we want to set up Einstein. So open up your setup, which is this button up here in the top right-hand corner, hit setup. And then in your quick find, you can type in Einstein setup and click Einstein setup and make sure that this is toggled on. And this is another thing that when we go into Copilot, you won't have to do this because we've toggled it on. This makes it, yeah, for all those builders, the Einstein One Studio Builder Suite. So once we've done that, make sure you refresh your browser. And we'll go back into the quick find box and type in prompt. And when we see prompt builder show up, we'll hit prompt builder. So this is kind of your welcome mat for prompt builder. You've got a video, trailhead, and a tour essentially that you can click on for resources. I've done this before, so you can see past prompt templates you've created on the bottom right here. But what we're going to do is create new prompt template. And then this window will show up. And so, we talked about the prompt templates on that slide. There's 4 different types. So that's where you're picking. Copilot isn't there. Yeah, you're picking it from here. And I don't know why email isn't on there. But anyways, we're going to do field generation because we're going to be creating that summary. And then make sure you're copying this information here,
Mia,
right?
Krish, can you help Mia?
Yeah, we're,
So for the name, it's quick summary.
Yeah, Krish can help you, so.
you're great. I'm on Einstein's.
Make sure you add a template description.
New.
In general, descriptions for things is super important when we're working with generative AI, and we'll see this especially in Copilot. And yeah, maybe you've heard about this, but generative AI uses those descriptions to understand what the thing is and to know how to leverage it. So now more than ever, definitely add your description. Add your case or your object. So for object, we're working on the case one. And for object field, so this is Trailhead already created this for you, essentially, the field that we're going to use to input the information. But in the real world, you would have created a field on your record page, your case record page to house this. We hit next. And then we're in the prompt template workspace. How's everyone doing? Following? Yes, good. If we want to faster, just let me know. We can do that. But okay, so this is our prompt builder workspace. So if you're new to it, on the left in this box, that's where we're going to be writing our prompt. Right above here is where we it's our picker of the merge fields, essentially. They're called resources here, but yeah, I like to think of it as just the merge fields that you're going to add into your template. And those are how we ground our prompt with the correct company data that we want to provide. And then on the right, we've got, we were talking about this before, but right, which model we want to use. So we've got all these different models to choose from. I mean, I guess it opened up on 3.5, so you could say that that was the default, but I don't think we officially say there's a default.
You said to confirm it. You always had to confirm the model.
Yeah, yeah. And I think for Trailhead, it was asking us to do 4. So we'll pick OpenAI GPT-4. The other thing to just note, and I think we go through this in a minute as well, but there's the resolution box and the response box. And so as admins and practitioners in the space, when we're creating prompts, we're going to be looking a lot in these spaces to see what our responses are, right? And making sure that it's as accurate and as close to what we expect as we need it to be before we're sharing it with our users.
One small question. So for models, if, for example, I have to develop my own model, which is not in the options. So is there a way we can integrate our own model to?
I believe so. I don't know how, but I think because there's model builder.
One of the ways is model builder, but that is all in the data cloud.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get it here? I mean, this is.
How do we get it to surface here?
This is code.
So prompt builder, yeah, it's not by cloud, it's a platform tool.
So how do we integrate that to
Your own model? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, but I'm sure it's possible because we that's what we've been saying, that you can bring your own model to these things. So I can ask, yeah, because it doesn't show up like right here within this.
Right. There should be-
And
maybe there is a way we can get that model from data cloud to this.
mhm,
Because data cloud, we have done that POC as well, that we can get our own model from.
mhm.
Anyways.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like within model builder, which is one of the things we're covering, right? But that maybe bring it in there and then it shows up. Yeah, and then it would show up here in the prompt builder space. Yeah, good question. Okay, so to keep us moving, so there is a prompt already created for us. That's so nice. And you can copy that and paste it directly in. The reason that it's done this way is especially as we've been kind of in the beginning phases of rolling out prompt builder, the way you write your prompts definitely impacts the output, right? And we found that this prompt written in this way will get us the right intended output, but I do know that the space is also changing and evolving, and I think this will become even more natural language-y going forward. And I think one thing I want to do on admin relations is spend a lot of time on prompt writing as a skill. And that'll be coming in the future. Because I think as admins, like that'll be the most important thing to know within this tool, right? Like how do we write the prompts that Salesforce needs?
Actually, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That would be a cool job, I feel, like.
Yeah.
Being a prompt writer.
Yeah.
I have a
Well, that'll be
question
probably.
for the comments and like subject, are these variables or something? These are all uppercase?
This
or-
is, yeah, what we're gonna do next.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
yeah, now that we've copied and pasted, kind of the prompts that Trailhead is giving us, again, they wrote it in a way that we know what the we have a better understanding what the outcome will be. But there's an important step. Yes, we have to create the merge fields so that we can actually ground all of our prompt with our customer data. So we can highlight or delete kind of, or go in front of the any of the words that are all caps. And we can replace it with the actual grounded merge fields. So, and I'm going, of course, out of order, but I'm going to do
Merge fields
comments
should be
first.
standard, right? So we could probably include that in the prompt, right?
Yeah, but I think they want us to learn.
To learn.
So yeah, so for comments, it's the comments on the case. So we're going to go to case. Comments, case comments, and add that in. We've got subject. So we can add that in as well.
Okay, so you go to the resource, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So the resource is kind of your picker of merge fields.
This is going to be more working.
Yeah, so because we've got these things highlighted, it's gonna pull in the company data based, or the data from the record, essentially. The case priority, which is called priority, and I believe, yeah, that's all on here as well. And the nice thing with this example is we are just kind of pulling all the fields from the case record page. So it's very straightforward, which I like.
Prompt builder can be is integrated to any analyzer platform, but it's integrated to the Salesforce code. So you can use that, say, service can and even on all of these things, specific to
I think it's what's on core. Yeah, and anything platform related. I know there are tools that are built across all of our apps that they're looking into, and especially on the Copilot side, there is across all the apps, there's a tool or an option. Maybe I believe Prompt Builder is built on our platform, so it's mostly for core. But it's a good question about, yeah, what are the options for if you're on like. And there is also the initiative to get marketing and commerce, all of them onto core too, right? So then eventually it will be across.
Well, industry's cloud basically is core, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Industry cloud, right? So anything that's
Believe
industry
so.
cloud, non-profit cloud, everything is.
Yeah,
core.
nonprofit for sure, yeah.
Start.
Yeah, just start.
I call the
Sure.
core, the old core and the new core, right? I
Yeah.
get discussion on, hey, what's the core? I said, okay, that's the old core.
Oh,
and the new core is
core.
the industry cloud, right? So.
I mean, and the cool thing with Data Cloud is, yeah, all data, right? You can connect in and leverage.
Built on Google. I mean, it is Salesforce metadata.
It accesses, yeah.
So within the data cloud, I'm not sure if we have the prompt builder. We have model builder, but I'm not sure if we have the prompt builder. I never heard of it. Sounds pretty.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are different things that you would probably buy,
In
yeah.
Data Cloud, we have prompt builder and just write the prompts in that. Can you
Yeah.
summarize this?
You
What
should
are
be
the-
able to leverage Data Cloud data for
Yeah.
Prompt Builder for sure. Yeah.
So for the resources case and then case
I
con,
think there's separate license for this one.
you know, like, is it?
Yeah, I would type it. I've just been typing them.
So that
Okay,
when
so
we were
but like
talking in the
two
last
cases,
meeting,
and then
okay, so there's a
type it there
license.
again.
Meaning you can, we can check it out, I believe.
And then it's internal or,
Case comment.
oh, it's case, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all of them, that's it, or is that-
No, but,
Yeah, because-
will it be a separate license for that, Rebecca? On this one for prompt builder?
Does it come?
Separate from what?
From the, like the core, okay, so we're
Yeah.
on core, but you have to pick a separate license to activate, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the thing, right?
so
Another-
there's a whole, yeah. It's the Einstein Studio, right? Is
Yeah.
I believe the package, but I don't have the latest on how to purchase.
But
it.
that's the thing, because technically, you don't see it, it's available, but.
Yeah, you're not gonna
activate
see
it
it.
by taking a license, right?
Yeah, and then the other thing is, and I think there's even a whole badge on Einstein pricing because
What they have?
there's gonna be a slightly different way that works.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm saying pricing is completely different. Like
Yeah,
The older
yeah.
way we talk about.
Yeah, and
Prediction and discovery and all that, they have like pretty vast pricing based on some standard and.
yeah, I think this is gonna be even different. from that.
Okay, I got that.
Okay, I wanna keep moving. Okay, so has everyone, yeah, hopefully done this piece. Okay, so then we can go see what this looks like live by typing in a record right here. And so the example we're getting from Trailhead is to use the 1002. And then hit that and then hit save and preview. Okay, so now you can see the resolution, which is taking the prompt and putting the data, or like showing you how the data is gonna flow. And then the response, which is what essentially the end user will see and be able to use. So the case titled Seeking Guidance on Electrical Wiring Installation is low priority, categorized as electrical. Comments indicate that engineering was contacted, right? So it's giving you that high level summary. But there are more steps to make sure that this is available for our users to use. This is one big step that we've taken, which is working on a prompt. And in real life, right, you would be like, oh, this isn't exactly what I expected it to say. Let me write the prompt differently. Let me add some different things. There's a really great Trailhead module just on prompt writing as well, where it breaks down the ingredients you should include in your prompt, right? And things you can say to prevent it from hallucinating or going too far from the facts. So that's a good one to check out as well. But for this case, we've done this piece, and now let's make sure we hit activate before we leave Prompt Builder, because now we need to surface this to our users. We're going to do that through Lightning App Builder. Okay, so the way that they have us going there, I think from here is yeah, I think you can yeah, we can go back to home or to your home page, navigate to cases. Open a case. And now we're on an example case. Hit the setup gear and go edit page. So now we're going to be in Lightning App Builder, and this, if you've worked within Salesforce, you feel very familiar. This is how we customize the record pages for our users to make them super useful for them. And so, you know, we've got our standard components on the left. We've got our canvas showing what the page looks like in the middle and customizations on the right. So what we want to do, and like I said, Trailhead created the field already for us, the case summary field. So all we're going to do is like click into it. Oh, and I think if you're not new to it, you probably have to enable dynamic forms.
In setup or?
No, it's on this Lightning
Oh.
App Builder page. If you're following the instructions, it's right here
Okay.
with the details within the details section selected, hit upgrade now in the record detail to upgrade to dynamic forms. Because what we're doing is taking a specific field and working on it, and we need dynamic forms to do that. Yeah, so once that's upgraded, essentially, we can click on this quick summary field. Is everyone there? We're moving the right speed. So within quick summary, there'll be this Einstein generative AI section. And I have two because I just created a new one. But you would select quick summary, and this is essentially the prompt builder that we just built. Once we select that, we can hit save. And then also make sure you activate. I'm not going to activate because I already have one. Okay, so now we can leave Lightning App Builder. Go back to our record page. This is our example, right? This is a case where our customer is seeking guidance on electrical wiring installation. Fun. And so for you, you probably just, yeah, you should see quick summary, but I believe there won't be anything in your field. But there will be this button that you can hit. Are we saying that? Yeah.
That's fine.
Stay behind.
People. I'm in the typing page.
So this is, you know, when I was talking about it in the beginning, with Prompt Builder, we're writing the template so that our user can just hit a button, get that LLM grounded data or output without having to write a prompt with all the merge fields and all that stuff that we will really be very kind of the expert in.
There's somebody asking a question, not sure which option in dynamic actions.
Which one?
Does
Huh?
it say here that?
Which option?
What is dynamic? What is that? Like you mean
Oh,
dynamic?
Dynamic
We
form.
needed to upgrade
Just
to dynamic
upgrade
forms.
So you click into the
Just-
detail. You click into the detail in the edit page and then click upgrade.
Mhm.
As the summary changes, does it update automatically every time you log in, or do you have to refresh everything you log in?
You'll have to hit that button.
Oh, you will. Okay.
So yes, at this point, the way
So you
this is
have to hit
designed,
The stars button.
The
every time
little
you wanna see your summary.
Einstein thing, yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, there's probably many reasons it's designed that way, but
Yeah.
every time you hit that, it's, an API call and all that, and there's tokens that are taken and
Yeah,
used to leverage that, so they don't make that automatic. 'Cause
Yeah.
that could be probably like unnecessary calls to the tool. So I think as admins, we would train our agents, like, make sure if you're going in a new record, you hit the button so you get the latest summary. And you're not looking at an old summary that was created. Or at least that's how I would be thinking about it, for now.
Oh, and when you go to the edit page and you're on that field quick summary, then you do what? You select a template, that same template, okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
The one you
and
created,
save it.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it.
Good. So, anyway, so you hit the button and then Einstein is talking to you and it's like, oh, this is what I came up with. And then you hit use.
Yeah.
And then it's added to your fields. And, you see these buttons here, you can like, dislike, have it regenerate essentially.
You can really find out something, if you need to change the output, so you can just change it's just like ChatGPT.
Sort of.
And wait, did you say you're talking about the date of the generation?
Where?
Like, could you see the date of when this quick summary was generated? And you were saying
There
updated
is an audit trail
audit trail of that.
of what is happening, yeah,
Okay.
that is available. So I would assume, yes, you could.
And then also
So where is everyone at?
is there a way to have a template of the response? Say if I liked the type of example and then I want to apply it to a subset of cases that are similar. Is there a way to
I mean, that's what the template is supposed to be,
I guess that's
right? And you make the template as specific as you need it so that it doesn't deviate too far.
And the
from
audit
general.
trail is in the set of audit trail or something?
It's a good
Some-
question. I'm gonna
I'll
go,
look into it.
yeah, if we're getting close to done with this, I'm gonna move back into slides because we talk about
Okay.
the trail real fast. Yeah,
Yes.
we're at 11, okay.
So who all got the confetti yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's too much.
Anybody got the confetti yet? From doing
So-
this work?
Yeah, if people
Oh,
want to keep going on that badge while listening to the rest,
Yeah.
we'll keep moving, especially since, we're almost, getting into an hour. Okay, yeah, so what we just did is built a prompt template, surfaced it on a Lightning record page, and then used it, right, as if we were a user. So you saw what that all looks like in action. Now, I want to talk about the Einstein trust layer to kind of take you behind the scenes of what's happening. Because this is kind of the differentiator for Salesforce and also what makes this work for business in my mind. So it all starts with the prompt, right? And if you're looking at the screen, we're starting up here in the left, and we're going to be moving this way and around. So we create the prompt. Once we create it, we add dynamic rounding, which was our merge fields. We're selecting from the drop down all those different record fields that are relevant. Then what's happening in the back end is data masking. So again, because we don't want to send all of our personal customer data into an open LLM, what Salesforce will do with the Einstein trust layer is add data masking. So all that PII data will become placeholders when it goes to the LLM. And then lastly, before it sends to the LLM, there's this thing called prompt defense, which is your prompt that you built gets wrapped around some more prompt that Salesforce has built that filters out damaging responses or attempts to filter out damaging responses. And then, so all of that is happening before we even get into generating. Then it goes to, it goes into the LLM, and like we talked about, you know, there's bring your own model. So you can bring your own, or you can use one of the ones from the drop down that one of the public ones. And the big thing here to call out is just that there is, Salesforce has a zero retention policy, meaning that any data that we send over there, that it cannot be stored or leveraged within the LLM, which is also, I think, super important, and especially when you're working with business data, right? So all that's happening, then it comes back. So the output, you get your response. Then what happens is there's a toxicity detection, which is another place where we're trying to filter out any bias or harmful content that the LLM may have created. Then there's data demasking. So it's bringing all of those data fields that we masked before we sent over and bringing them back so we can see them. There's a feedback framework. So that is when you see, when I was showing kind of the thumbs up, thumbs down. So there's the opportunity for users to kind of say, is this good or not? And then for us to know and learn from that as well. And then there's the audit trail, which is at the very end. And that means we can validate how our users are using prompts, the quality responses, and that also helps you fine tune your prompts. So I think those last two, again, are super important for the admin or the person working in Prompt Builder, because this is an iterative process, right? Where you're creating these prompts and you're working with an LLM, you don't know what they're gonna send back or what it's gonna send back. So all these things should help you create that better output or most useful output for your user.
So I had a question. So does this also respect the sharing visibility permission?
We will talk about that. Yes, that actually comes up in Copilot, but yes. So the Copilot AI will respect what your user has available to them.
Right. So what's the you
There's something called a skill builder as well, which was,
Mhm.
and now I'm not hearing about it more.
Yeah.
The name has been changed, or
I think that is now the actions.
it's the actions.
Yeah, which is Copilot, which we'll talk about. Right now.
So a skill builder, which I read before at the time of Einstein, that this is going to answer my question, that it is going to see what kind of codes and the visibility. I mean, if I'm the admin, I can see everything. If I'm not, I'm just not there, or
Yeah.
if I'm.
So,
that's
yeah,
the foundations and settings.
within Copilot, Einstein Copilot, or that's what we're calling it. Yes, it will respect your schema and your permissions. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we should go into Einstein Copilot because it, feels like we're moving organically into this space. So Einstein Copilot is our AI assistant. It's one conversational assistant that can work across any app within Salesforce. And what that means is essentially, you see the little icon right here. So when you're logging into Salesforce, you will have that icon available wherever you are within Salesforce core. Right, available to you to click on, and it'll pull up. And this is exactly like if you're thinking ChatGPT, right? Like it's pulling up a place where you can chat and talk to Einstein. And because it's a little icon in the top, right, you can pull it up wherever you are, no matter wherever you are within your Salesforce org. And the other amazing thing about Einstein Copilot is that it can reason through asks and then securely take action to get work done. So when we were talking about Prompt Builder, it was really about creating a prompt to get an output, right, to get a bunch of text back that you could use somewhere. With Copilot, we're adding right to that by saying Einstein can write, you can write a request or something, and it will reason through what you're asking, think through what the tasks are to get you your response back, and also the sequence of how to go through it.
Like a ChatGPT, where you can talk.
You can talk to it, but it not only will give you like a written text response, but it can also take action for you. So, I mean, the example right here,
Can you generate pictures using that as well?
I believe no, but, that's a good question. We can ask. Yeah, I don't know. This is, the way that they're thinking about it and what they'll prioritize is, helping users navigate within Salesforce, get the information they need. So like here on this example, right, it's what was the last record I updated?
That's good.
Einstein knows who you are, like we talked about, and it can just pull that up no matter where you are. Of course, that one, then after that, you could be like, you know, can you update it to closed? And then it should be able to go do that without ever having to go do that. And that is the difference. You can get data back, but it can also take action.
You know, how is it on mobile? This week, on mobile side?
That's a good question. I would assume it follows all our other mobile
Yeah.
settings. But it would probably also be something as the admin that would be configured somehow. I'm gonna have to write all these questions down and bring them back. If you all remember, tell me at the end again, and we'll make a list. But yeah, this kind of goes into a little bit what you were asking about, but this Einstein Copilot is conversational AI, but it's grounded in both data and metadata, right? So not only can it see and understand all the data you have, like within your opportunities, within your cases, within knowledge articles, and it can read that and bring that back to you, but it also knows your metadata. So it knows how you customize, it knows your permissions, and it respects your permissions. So it's not going to provide data that you don't have access to, right? And it understands the automations you've built as well, and it could leverage those. So really, really powerful when you think about putting all of that together. And what that means for your user. The other thing that's great and amazing, and why we're here talking about this, is that it's extensible so that admins, developers, architects can build on it as well. So, and that is possible through actions. So you can customize your Einstein Copilot with familiar building blocks. And this slide really resonated for me, at least, because it reminded me of Lightning App Builder, right? Where in Lightning App Builder, you've got your standard components on the left, but then you also have custom components. And so you can build those custom ones, or you can bring them from the App Exchange, right? I don't know about App Exchange custom actions, but I think that's, you know, going to be part of it. But essentially you have standard actions that are either built across the whole platform, or each cloud has actions they've created specific. And then you've got custom actions that can be built leveraging Apex Flow, NoSoft API, and prompt inputs.
It can also just coding as well.
Yeah.
It's software prompt.
Yeah, it can leverage that. Yeah. And that, yeah, would definitely not be my space. But I stay in the standard actions side of things. But yeah, just like you can think of Einstein Copilot as a platform in itself, right? That you can build on and customize.
So you would trigger the flows or Apex from the Copilot. Is that the use case?
You would create an action and then you would make it available. So if a user says something that would require a flow, it could be like, oh, I have an action that has that flow. I'm going to pull from that to use it for this request.
That makes sense.
So there are a lot of question answers happening in the room. If anybody virtually wants to open the mic and ask any questions, please do so. You can open the mic and talk.
And then we can also then
Write them out loud. Yeah. I'm happy to answer more questions.
If anybody has questions,
There
can
is
you
questions
open
that
up
I've
your
asked
mic and
before.
ask directly?
Hi, Rebecca. I asked this in
You can
the
continue, I
chat,
guess.
but I didn't get an answer. Can you hear me? Am I audible? No.
Yes, Einstein for flow is a thing that they're working on. But yeah, so you could have Einstein help you
So
write flows,
one-
yeah, and formulas. Those are all things that are in the works. Yeah, that we've,
People want to be lazy.
Yeah.
People are lazy.
Okay.
So the problem is like the new people coming into the thing, right? They will never learn anything. That's the problem that
You need-
about the core and non-core, it was like somebody who was ecosystem for a long time. They say, I keep on getting confused. This is the core, that is the core. But that's the thing, it depends many on the system. And a new person comes in, they already know everything is done for them, and say, okay, and they say, hey, we need to know all.
yeah, I mean, the one thing we like to say is you definitely still want a human in the loop,
Yes.
right, with all of this. And that's,
And it's not mandatory, you can, even if you don't do coding, but in case you have.
No, it's the same thing, AI Gen is the same thing too, like when you can open anyone right now article, so brainstorm, but you
Yeah.
don't just copy and paste it, like then you read it, then you edit it, then you
Mhm.
spend time with it. But it gives you
Yeah.
a pretty good first draft, that is all.
exactly, super important to make sure we have a human in the loop, especially on the back end when we're building all these tools. Especially working with flow, right, because it's so powerful and can like have such a big impact. So quickly we'll go through this last slide, and then I think we're have a quick demo, and then if we have time, we'll do that the second badge for Copilot. So this is kind of a high level diagram in a way of how Einstein Copilot works. You start with the conversation, right? Like you saw on that other slide where you've got your chat window and you're writing in there. And it's any user just asking to engage Einstein with any task. So in this case, can you create an email for my top open opportunity this week? And again, they can be wherever within the org. They don't have to be on a specific page or anything or specific record. And then what I was saying with Copilot, I don't know if I mentioned it, but like Copilot reasons, right? So it will take the request, think through what are the tasks and what is the sequence of tasks I have to take to make this happen. So it creates a plan of action. So in this case, it's first it has to figure out what record, then it has to draft an email, then it's probably going to revise the email. And then from the execution perspective, Einstein can invoke services. So if it needs to use a flow in order to make the thing happen, or a prompt that we've built, or Apex or APIs, it will do that. And then it will also automatically ground it in your AI data, or ground your AI in your data. And that could be your internal CRM data, or if you have data cloud or you're connecting to other data systems, it can leverage those as well. And then it comes with the outcome, where it's, in this case, created an email on the fly. It's identified that Alex at Acme Corp is the top opportunity for this week, and it's created an email for that. Which I feel like is a very basic example for like something super powerful, but this is how we're explaining it right now. I think there's a cooler example. Rather than have me talk through it, Carlos is the PMM, Carlos Lozano on Copilot, and he did a really great demo of Copilot in the admin RRL like a couple weeks ago. So I was going to play that. I think that's.
You can just mute yourself first.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jillian. Thank you for having us, and thank you for tuning in. I'm excited to be here, so let's get started. With Einstein Copilot, we're making it easy and possible to deploy a trusted conversational AI assistant using the data and processes you already have in Salesforce. So let's imagine I'm a sales rep and I'm wondering what's on my new patch and how to get familiar with it. With Einstein Copilot, instead of clicking all over the place, I can simply express these questions in natural language like list all my accounts. and get a useful generative AI answer on desktop, laptop, and mobile. And because Einstein Copilot is conversational, I can reply with something like, show me a list for my open opties for the second one. And I'll be understood in the context of this ongoing conversation. And Einstein Copilot can also help me take action, enabling me to say things like, no, focus on what's closing this month, and later saying something like, and summarize it for me, please. And again, I'll be understood and get a good result. Interactions like this will empower every team to work faster, and the amazing news is that what we're showing you will be available out of the box very soon, which means you'll be able to bring the efficiency benefits of trusted conversational AI to your business. But eventually, end users and admins will discover a question related to their business that Einstein Copilot cannot answer. For example, if I reply with something like, what can I sell for this account's opportunity? We'll see that Einstein Copilot does not yet have this capability. But this challenge is actually a huge opportunity because it gives us a chance to talk about how Einstein Copilot works and, more importantly, how you can adapt it to your business. And it all begins here in Einstein Copilot Studio, where you can customize your Einstein Copilot. And the key way Einstein Copilot will do that is through this library of actions. These actions that give Einstein Copilot all of its capabilities, like finding, summarizing, and updating records or drafting emails. And what you're looking at here are just some of the standard Copilot actions we're shipping. But notice, you can also add your own custom Copilot actions to extend Copilot with new capabilities. For example, this is a flow that this company built before they were even thinking about conversational AI. And they've been using it to identify the most appropriate products for each customer's account. The flow will take as an input the account's name, which will be extracted from the conversation. Then it will use this to get the account's details, industry, and the products previously purchased, to then return a list of recommended product that will be relevant for it. And if you recall, we asked Copilot, what can I sell for this opportunity? And this flow is the answer to that question. And how do we give Einstein Copilot the ability to use this flow? Create a custom Copilot action and point to that very product recommendation flow. This is almost the only thing we need to do to enable Einstein Copilot to inherit the capabilities of this flow. But there's still one critical step remaining. We need to make sure we have good description for what this flow does and how it should be used. And why is this important? Because Einstein Copilot is using NLP capabilities of LLMs to interpret the user's input, its library of actions, and making dynamic plans to fulfill requests. And that's it. Descriptions is all you need. And where can we use this? In the Copilot Studio, where we can help you preview your Copilot and inspect how it works. And here, as an admin, notice how I was able to impersonate how my business users will interact. I was able to recreate the conversation and how, notice, at every user request, there's a dynamic plan and its execution to fulfill it. Let's take a look at that very example, showing biggest opportunities and how it was able to understand that in context, in a multi-turn fashion, and using conversation history. Great. Now, let's go ahead and add our custom Copilot action to it. And let's retry that original question of, okay, what products can I sell here? And now what we'll see is that Einstein Copilot used its natural language understanding to not only understand our question, but correctly make a dynamic plan involving our new action, which then executed and generated a useful AI answer based on a flow we already have. So to recap, we took a quick tour to showcase how with Einstein Copilot, the benefits of conversational AI will become accessible to you with, first, a turnkey solution, and two, a turnkey solution that can then be extended and adapted to your business using the skills you already have and the customizations and automations you've already built in Salesforce. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Carlos. We've got a lot
maybe.
Yes, we'll share this
Yeah.
link. One sec.
Okay, so that was a really cool example, right, of using Copilot. It really brings to life, right, what we've been talking about. And I think especially, I'm sure people are, curious about how we can leverage flow and all these things we've already built within our system, and bring them to life, in this way.
Thanks, Jillian. Thank you for having us.
Go next. Alrighty, so with that, we have about 15 minutes, right? Ish?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get hands-on with Copilot and we'll jump back into Trailhead. So remember, you want to make sure you're on the quick start badge for Einstein Copilot. This will be the one where we get actually hands-on.
Is this the last slides? Or?
So it's the last hands-on piece. There's a short section on Data Cloud and how that works, but yeah, we can play by ear if we want to even get into that. If we want to just stay on this.
Thanks, Mia, for both pasting the link.
Yeah, thank you.
You can try getting questions from the online now if you want.
Does anyone want to ask questions from Rebecca directly? Raise your hands and you can directly ask. First step is to raise your hand, you know, the icon and the reaction.
Virtual person can come.
Yeah, or you can just open the mic. We're not too many here, so okay.
You go ahead.
Aisha, can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yeah. Hi, Rebecca. I wanted to ask, for the last thing that we covered, prompt builder, could we use data object models as data model object as a resource in the prompt builder template?
As a resource, I don't know if I understand that question. What we're using is usually we're like looking for fields or.
Yeah. The fields and the objects that are coming in from data object, the unified profile, etc. Can we use those as a resource?
Like you're thinking from Data Cloud,
Yeah.
From there. I believe so, but yeah, this was a question already asked, and I'll double check, but I believe so. I think that's what the definitely on the Copilot side, you can bring in and leverage Data Cloud data to answer questions in generative chat. But for prompt builder specifically, I need to ask what that looks like, because right now, it's those 4 fields. But I think if you're pulling it in through a flow of some sort, then you would be able to, because you can leverage flows within prompt builder.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but we'll check.
Okay.
Anyone else wants to ask? You have an opportunity right now.
Hi, this is Danusha here. So Rebecca, like given a business requirement, how do we determine which LLM model would best fit? Because like there are so many LLM models out there. So how do we select a particular one?
Yeah, that's a good question. And that has come up a couple of times, even in the trainings I was doing within Salesforce. And I think, so one thing you can do is kind of test them when you're writing your prompt and see which one is providing the better answer for you for what you're looking for. I think the other thing that will come up later is like, they may be different pricing or different kind of availability for different models. That would also be something you want to consider.
Sure. Basically, like we might need to do a bit of POV on different models and then look at the pricing whether it better fits our need, right? In summary.
Yeah, because essentially, I believe Salesforce is, buying tokens or API calls from whichever model and then bringing that to surface for us. But I know a lot of that is still like being built and figured out based on how the customers are using it so that we can kind of offer the best possible solution. But I know that those might be things that will be in consideration for people.
Sure. Thank you so much.
I think that's a good point, pricing, because not every customer would like to have all the elements models, but they just want to have them. So based on their business
Okay,
requirement.
we can be done.
Yeah.
All right,
Exactly.
are we
It would
done
be
with
a
the
conversation
questions
with
or
your
more
MD
questions
to understand.
anybody wants to ask?
Okay, I guess we can move on with the badge then.
Okay. Alrighty, so this badge, we're gonna explore standard Copilot actions and learn how to test them in Copilot Builder. We'll create a custom action that uses an existing flow that Trailhead team has already built for us, yay. And the use case we are going after is initiating a return for a recent order using natural language, which sounds complex to me. Okay, so I'm assuming people are somewhat set up. So we'll use that same org we were in before. We don't have to create a new one. We can skip that step, yay. And we can also skip connecting our org. And we can also skip kind of the setup piece right here.
I think all you have to do is do Copilot. You have to start.
You
have to turn on Copilot.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is saying we should go check out the orders because that's what we're going to be working on. So we can start there and then we'll go into setup. Because we're going to be initiating a return, right? So,
Oh, I see.
right. So this is our orders object and our two orders that are in here. You will see two orders from Edge Communications. And I think we're just setting this up because, right, we're going to be testing later in a minute how the end user will interact with our stuff. So now we can click setup and head in to the back end. So again, we can skip this step of toggling on Einstein because we should all have that already on there unless you've created a net new org in the meantime, which then definitely do that. And so we can go right to step 8, which is type in Copilot, Einstein Copilot. Make this a little bit bigger. So this is the kind of homepage here. There's some resources again if you're wanting to continue to learn. The middle one is a blog on admin.salesforce.com around use cases. So definitely check that out. And then we are going to toggle this on Einstein Copilot for Salesforce. And so once we do that, we're going to click Einstein Copilot. And we're going to hit open in Builder. And dismiss some of those welcome net pieces. Okay, so this is what Copilot Builder looks like. And again, it kind of reminds me of App Builder in small ways, right? Where you've got kind of your building blocks on the left and you've got a canvas in the middle. And then the right is going to be your preview of what the conversation would look like if you're chatting with Einstein. Okay, so when I keep going here, you know, you can, if you wanted to talk and write some stuff into Einstein right now, you could and see what it's returning to you. And just to play around with it. And we're going to do that with some language that is provided by Trailhead. So we can write in, what can you do? I can answer questions about policies, troubleshoot, draft sales emails, and manage Salesforce CRM records. How can I assist you? And then let's ask it, tell me about edge communications.
Fake. Right?
And yeah, I knew something like this was going to happen. Sometimes we get issues. This is why I for sure wanted to show the demo because yeah, every other time I go in here, there's something happens that's less expected. And again, right, we're all new early adopters of this product. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
People who do Trailheads and then they all the time, okay, it's not working. It's
Well,
the demo.
I was doing this last night and I'm pinging Trailhead like, I need this to work. I'm like, I'm gonna be showing this.
That's the trailers are hard. People say, hey, trailers are easy.
So there is one
Pretty hard.
question.
Yeah.
Some are really hard.
They're saying I don't have any active order for edge communications, although Trailhead says that it should return two orders. Yeah.
Oh yeah, are you moving forward in this?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a question for.
Refresh.
Somebody commented. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've moved through on the project. Yeah, and yep, I've had that happen too. There's continuing to be bugs in this. And they kind of change every time I go in this. So yeah, again, I wanted to show you the demo of how it really works. Because I've been running into things also with it showing the actions and what's happening isn't always exactly right.
So what exactly is Einstein Copilot Studio?
So Studio is the name of all the builders together.
Okay, it is combination of three things.
Three, yeah, the model builder, Copilot, and prompt. So yeah, when you're talking about the studio, it's like all of the generative AI tools. Yeah. Yeah.
Package deal or but the pricing will be you might be or you can buy one.
I'm sure you can
You want
buy one or whichever way you want to do it.
This model building is the data, not everything.
They give it big data cloud, come on. They give it big data cloud, small, but then.
Okay. I feel like people went ahead on me, so.
Then really help with the pricing. Is it also
So do we do
consumption, like
custom?
and then your templates, very templates, or per user.
They're gonna have these things called like tokens, and it's how many tokens are you using, kind of like how many credits are you using. And it looks like it's based on how often you're calling to the LLM.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like that's also kind of evolving based on what we're learning from customers and how they're using the tool. And that's definitely not my expertise. So would definitely recommend talking to your AEs about that. Yeah, okay, so let's edge communications. Let's see what it does. But essentially what you should be also seeing is that this is updating in the middle to show what how it is acting and what it is leveraging to create your plan. So this piece right here, right? The dynamic plan, it's going to retrieve a Salesforce account, and then it's going to do this, and it's going to summarize and do this. Which, yeah, in the past week, I have not seen update. And that may just be me, but yeah, something went wrong with the action. Please try again later or reach out to Salesforce admin.
People said, just refresh them, rather.
Refresh it.
Let's see, 3-4 people. So
Oh, great. I love it. Help me.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, I got it after refresh.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's the best way to learn about all of these tools is to really like play around with it, hit refresh, ask it different ways.
First try, pull your hair out, doesn't work.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm doing something wrong.
I have the dynamic plan, but no active orders, so I have 1 out of 2.
Yeah, I think that happened to me on the first
Yeah.
time as well, too.
There it goes.
Oh, here, look at. So it created the dynamic plan and it also summarized edge communications for us. Yay. And then, okay, so people did this and nothing happened. Yeah, I feel like I'm the one behind them.
You're asking the questions of people.
Yeah.
People want to get up here.
Hey, I asked
It's
specifically.
like, oh no,
Really
I can't figure it
because-
out. But yeah, it's because we got to go create a custom action. So yeah, so I mean, the thing to remember is Copilot is leveraging all your data and also all your metadata, but it needs kind of these actions that help identify what things are, right? And enable it to pull the right thing for it. And so even though there's a flow created, we need to make the action to connect the dots for Copilot, or that's how I've been thinking about it. My boss explained it in some form where it's like, if it was a flow, but without the lines connecting all the pieces and just, by it, and then it's figuring out how to connect it all in the best way possible.
Right.
And maybe even has thought of ways you haven't thought about, but we've given it building blocks underneath. That helped me, but.
Third time I had to ask, does edge communication have any orders?
I mean, if you're, because you can leverage a prompt template in Copilot, right? So if you were leveraging generative AI in that instance, it would be whatever LLM you were using in the prompt.
Yeah, but if you want to, I mean, I'm pretty much sure that there will be something more added at the back end because there will be some kind of action as well.
Yeah, I think that is from Salesforce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might have its own LLM or
Its own capabilities on top of.
the existing.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Interesting.
Kind of trusted
Yeah.
ideas, to
Yeah.
make sure.
I mean, I know like
Feedback is trusted.
the Copilot could leverage prompt templates. So if you've written a prompt template that leverages an LLM, then essentially it's leveraging that LLM
Yeah, but Salesforce will have its own LLM, probably.
built in,
Yes.
Secret.
like how it's built.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Does everyone want to keep going on this? I know it's 11:34.
Oh,
We can go.
I
Okay.
don't like it.
We
that's
can
the good
finish
thing
this
about
or.
Saturdays. Nobody here 6:70 weekend. Extended time.
Is it just create the action and then
Yeah.
that's it?
Yeah, so you follow through, you create the action, you're gonna be leveraging the flow. And then,
I guess we could, it's pretty short, I guess we could try. doing
Okay.
it. Yeah,
all right.
let's see.
Yeah, so we're going to do. We're gonna exit Copilot Builder. I mean, I think some of us are ahead already, so it's me catching up. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna create a Copilot action. So we were in this Einstein Copilots, but now we're going to Einstein Copilots action. I want to create a new Copilot action. And for this, we're going to reference flow. But you see the options. You could reference a prompt template or Apex as well. I'm gonna initiate return. Again, Trailhead built the flow for us, so we have that. Otherwise you would be building the flow or leveraging an existing flow you have. Click next. Let's make sure we add these Copilot action instructions. For instructions under input, we want to make sure we're copying and pasting, populate this input variable with an order record ID. And then check require input, check collect data. For the instructions for the output, copy and paste this guy. This output indicates the status of the return request, whether it has been initiated, processed, or completed. Ooh. And we want to show in conversation. I think, again, just highlighting the top, like the instructions for Copilot is super important that that's super clear. So we're using initiate return for requests to return or refund orders or products in an order. That's us telling Copilot, like, if someone's asking about this, we've got a flow there already built. Hit finish. So now we've got that custom action. So now we go back into Einstein Copilots. Yes. And yeah. That guy, open in builder. And now we should see our new action that we just created. So now we can leverage this action that we built, which is essentially, right, the building block Einstein can leverage when it's being asked stuff in natural language. Oh, okay. I guess we need to make sure we deactivate before we do anything. Then we click into the Copilot action library, getting ahead of myself. And then we can see our initiate return. Assign to Copilot. And now we click activate.
Now we go back to home.
Yeah. So now we go back to our first tab. Hit back home. Why don't I have? There he is. Like, where's Einstein? Okay, so again, right, we're just opening up Einstein from wherever we are within Salesforce because we want to chat. No, I guess we're just going to ask it, what actions can you do? And again, I think this is trying to show the kind of unique capability, right? We're not just asking for outputs of text. We're like asking Einstein to go do things for us, which is a whole nother level of complexity. So it's telling us it can do all this stuff.
What is the order of the most recent?
It can initiate returns, right? So it says it can do that. So now we're going to ask, what is the order, the most recent start date? Alrighty, so we've got order number 100 for me, which is not what Trailhead is saying, but I'm just gonna change it to tell me about order 100. It was further along than another time when I tried to do this. This is, yeah, this is live. Sure, I have summarized the details of order 100. So there it is. And now we want to, though again, it's also showing things that are different than Trailhead. But anyways, we're going to say we want to start a return on this order.
Order is outside the return window.
Try 101. Try order 101.
Maybe 101 would have been okay.
Yeah, 101 should be okay. 100 is not working.
Well, but it didn't even show up. Like,
You gotta try querying it. You gotta be like, okay, give me order.
tell me about
order 101.
Yeah. Come on, please do it.
That's like shop at Costco. There's no-
Is it unlimited returns?
Keep your receipts.
There it is. Now you can try
nice.
returning it.
Okay, now I can say start a return. Maybe. I mean, at least it knows that it was out of the return window.
Yes. Okay,
Aha. Wow,
Nice.
amazing. We didn't have to navigate to that record, look at finding a button or anything. We just are chatting with Einstein.
I think that's.
And probably on mobile, that's so much even more powerful,
Mobile's
right?
crazy.
You just like pull it up, start chatting, and there you go.
I can like modify all the records, the natural language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Change the opportunity stage to
Mhm.
this.
So from the end user, right, you can see all the possibilities and the power behind what this could, how it could help with productivity and things like that. All right, so I mean, that was kind of core of Copilot. I want to keep us going. There are, lots more examples that have been shared, like, you saw Carlos. I can share some more videos of other ones. And actually at the end, we're going to talk about Built with Einstein, which I hope you are all interested in participating in. But here, so we just have a few slides on Data Cloud. I know it's a lot of content, so we wanted to touch on it, but also not go too deep, as we'll probably, yeah, touch it. We'll create more separate content around this. But yeah, Data Cloud is a big kind of piece of the puzzle because it's your access to so much more data, right? And generative AI is better and better when it is able to crawl the internet, right? And get all the data. And it's the same even with your business, right? Yeah, it's great to have access to CRM data, but if you've got data in all these other places, that would be helpful in answering, Einstein's questions or your questions to Einstein, then it's even like dramatically more powerful. And that's what Data Cloud is about. It's about making sure you have that relevant data availability for within your org, so you can have that customer 360, but also so you can leverage that data for AI. So there's kind of these three major steps. You're connecting all of your data at hyperscale. You can use MuleSoft Anypoint, you can bring your own lake, there's out-of-the-box connectors, etc. So you're bringing all that data in, and then you're harmonizing that data, which is super, super important as well, right? Because if you're connecting all this data, it might be in all different variety of formats coming into the system, all different. And so Data Cloud harmonizes this data to bring it into one common data model, essentially. And there's a badge to get hands-on with Data Cloud as well, where you can kind of start to see some of that. And there's a lot of, like mapping the fields and and then essentially ensuring that the data is you're bringing in the data in a way that will make sense once it's surfaced in Customer 360. And so once you've connected all your data and it's harmonized, harmonized, that's when you then have your single source of truth for your customer. You know, you don't have like 3 Rebeccas in 3 different systems. You've got one Rebecca and you can see how she's connected or like what she's bought here versus, I don't know, what data is in the, in different systems that you have.
Consolidated profile.
Yeah.
Don't make a slide to it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that we're like doing that. You're right.
No, I just saw it.
That makes.
I think these slides so many times.
The normal slide.
Well, everyone's familiar in different ways, right? With all of this, but yeah, so when we harmonize and then at the end we activate. So that's the other really powerful piece, right? Not only are you bringing all this data in and bringing that single source of truth of your customer or that.
It is Einstein Copilot Studio, so it is.
Yeah, Copilot. Yeah. Yeah, I think I was just not clear about prompt versus Copilots.
What do they call it?
Yeah.
Okay, inside Studio, the model builder, but it's in
Yeah, so at the end of it, you can activate your data cloud or your data through data cloud and you know, create segmentation, leverage automation, leverage Tableau and analytics, and use it to ground your AI with even more data around your customer, right? And use it within Copilot to answer questions that a salesperson may have. I think the one example that seems really powerful to me is like, as a sales user, if you could ask Einstein Copilot, you know, what product pages has my customer been on or something like that. And that data is like in Marketing Cloud or somewhere. It could, if that's connected, right, it can pull that in. And that's like a whole nother level of insight that you could have on your customer. And like I said, this was short and sweet. So that is the end of this workshop. I hope that was helpful. Again, we're trying to like boil a lot into like a short amount of time, but kind of get you start hands-on a little bit and also just thinking about how to use these tools. And I want to end on this slide. You know, we're very excited to see what our community will do with these tools. Like I said, there's just like so many possibilities in the end of how you can connect, create all these different custom actions or leverage standard actions, connect things that we haven't thought of, and we know we haven't. So we're excited for the community to get hands-on, start thinking about it. And we've got this quest going on, but with Einstein, where I do think it's a tall ask, but essentially if you build a small use case in Prompt Builder or in Copilot and record yourself and like explain it, you don't have to show your face, but like show your, what you've built. You can share that online and be entered to win Dreamforce Pass or a custom built with Einstein t-shirt.
That's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the end of the workshop. And
Oh, yeah. Unmute maybe?
but that's the end of the workshop. But I think we should all go back and look at the steps again and just like a good refresh of what we did. And yeah, and there's this quest that we should all try and attempt.
I see a Dreamforce, right? I see Dreamforce.
And we can all see each other at Dreamforce and live happily ever after.
Yeah, and if you have questions that we didn't get to, like, I know I want to write some down, but you can also give them to Shiva, and then you can.
What's this? Sorry?
Can you like take the questions and share them with me later?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Please feel free to email me the questions or message me on LinkedIn, and I can mail Rebecca. I can be the mediator. I can
yeah, I know. I want to make
email
sure.
Rebecca about the questions, and she will, you know, reach back with answers. So yeah.
Yeah.
Or we could stop the recording.
Yeah.
So I'm